Welcome to all my dear students for your new session of Plus 2 First Year Science CHSE. I am Saroj Kumar Sethi, your chemistry lecturer of Nalanda Vidya Mandir Plus 2 Science College, Barampur. So, today I am going to start the first unit of chemistry, that is some basic concept of chemistry. So, as recently you have qualified that is your 10th class, and you are most welcome to enter for your the plus 2 first year science, and you have already studied few chapters from the 10th level, that is chemistry, like metals and non-metals, acid, base, salt, periodic classification of element, and chemicals reactions, types of chemical reaction, that is combination reaction, double displacement reactions, oxidation and reduction reactions, etc. So for the first chapter of chemistry for your 11th class, it would be some basic concept of chemistry. Okay, so for this chapter, for this unit, after completion of this unit, you will get to know, that is what are the first one, that is what are the scopes of chemistry for humankind. Okay, then various forms of chemistry, then what is elements, atoms, molecules, and the reactions between them, and the how to balance the reactions, then that is empirical formula, molecular formula, very important one, most of time it is asking in your exam. Then mold concept, very important one, so most of competitive exam it asks, that is mold concept. You have already studied in class 9th only for introductory part, but in 11th class first unit you will go through details about that along with some important problems. Then that is balancing the reactions by partial equation methods, and stoichiometry coefficient and its calculations, very important one. So these are the topics you will go through details during the teaching of this unit. So first one, before get into the topic, the first topic, that is introduction level, first I want to know how much idea you have about that science, because recently you lay down on the chemistry stream, am I right or not? So chemistry is one of the most disciplinary subject in science, am I right or not? So chemistry is the branch of science which deals with the study of composition, structure, and properties of matter, am I right or not? So see student, after 10th class you have many stream, like three streams generally: science, that is commerce, and arts. So you have chosen science. So what does it mean science? First, before get into the topic, what does it mean that is science? What does it mean? Science means a systematic study upon that is physical and natural world, gained through different experiment and observations and inference. It is the systematic knowledge of physical and natural world, gained through experiments, observations, experiments, observations, experiment, observations, inference, inferences. So science means a systematic knowledge. Systematic knowledge which is gained through repeated experiment, observations and inference. That is science. So from the science, chemistry is one of the major disciplinary subject. It's an important disciplinary subject, that is chemistry. So what is the chemistry? What will be the definition of chemistry? The branch of science, it deals with the study of, it deals with the study of composition, structure, composition, structure and properties of matter, properties of matter. So it is the properties of matter along with its structure and its compositions. So you have already learned about that matter. Matter is nothing but anything which matter. What is matter? That is anything which occupies space and having mass. That is matter. So anything which is surrounding us, that is matter. This pen is, this marker is a matter. Chair, table, that is a matter. Whiteboard, the whiteboard is a matter. Anything. We are breathing that air. Air is also a composition of a matter. Which air? Where two types of gases are we are breathing. That is the breathing process. Carbon dioxide and oxygen. These are also compositions of matter. Am I right or not? So anything which occupies space and having mass, that is matter. So this is the chemistry. It deals with the study of compositions, structure and properties of matter. Okay. So chemistry having different branch, or we can say different forms. What are the different forms? Chemistry, it classified into many forms like inorganic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, then organic, then physical, then industrial, and nuclear, biochemistry, etc. Inorganic chemistry means it is the study of elements and their compounds except carbon, that is inorganic chemistry. Organic chemistry means it is the study of carbon, hydrocarbons and their derivatives. Hydrocarbon and their derivatives. Hydrocarbons and their derivatives means carbon, the compounds which containing carbon, hydrogen and their derivatives. That is organic compounds. Example we can say that is benzene, carbon, then hydrocarbons like carbohydrates, glucose, fructose, sucrose, All are the organic compounds: ethene, ethyne, alkane, alkyne, benzene, benzene derivatives, hydrocarbons, carbohydrates, all are coming under the organic chemistry. Their compositions, their structures, their synthesis, and their applications, all are coming under the organic chemistry. Similarly, physical chemistry, these are the study of laws, principles, study of principles, laws which govern on chemical phenomenon. Chemical phenomenon. All the chemical phenomena which is ruled by some principles, laws, or the laws and principles that governs on some chemicals phenomenon, that is physical chemistry. So in physical chemistry only laws are there, principles and laws you will find regarding there. Beside that you will find some problems, most important problems upon these principles and laws. Most important chapters are there. From the first chapter, that is from physical chemistry, thermodynamics, chemical equilibria, ionic equilibria are there. Then states of matter, gaseous states, liquid states. So these chapters are very important for that exam point of view. So physical chemistry is also most important, is like organic and inorganic. Then industrial chemistry. Here from your syllabus it is not there, industrial chemistry, but it is also a most important branch for humankind. Okay, so industrial chemistry, it deals with the industry related problems. Okay, study of industry related, industries related, that is industrial chemistry. Again, nuclear chemistry. Nuclear chemistry means it is the study of the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of structure, synthesis, and some applications of nuclei of atoms. That is nuclear chemistry, study of nuclei. Study of nuclei, that is nuclear chemistry. Biochemistry means the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of chemical changes takes place in living organisms. Study of chemical changes. Chemical changes takes place in living organism, or living bodies, we can say, or living things. Living thing, that is biochemistry. Bio means life. Am I right or not? So study of chemical changes. What kind of chemical changes takes place in living organisms, all the animals, human beings, all the living things. Okay, what kind of chemical changes takes place? The detailed study which comes under biochemistry. So these are the important forms or important that is types of chemistry. Then the next topic, that is our scope of chemistry. So what is the scope of chemistry for the human kindness? So role of chemistry. See, in universe, variety of large variety of substances are present. Am I right or not? So scope of chemistry is immense because due to presence of large variety large varieties of substances large variety of substances are found. So scope of chemistry is immense. Scope of chemistry, it is immense. It is very vast. Or we can say scope of chemistry is vast. It is very vast. So still research is going on for the scope to reveal the scope of chemistry up to our the convenience level of mankindness. So due to the presence of large variety of substances, scope of chemistry is very vast. For example, in health and medicines, health and medicines, health and medicines. See, when a person is suffered from any kind of disease, then according to that medication is required to recover from that disease or for treatment of that disease. Am I right or not? So many forms of medicines are available through the applications of chemistry to cure the diseases. For example, that is antipyretics. These antipyretic drugs means medicines. Antipyretic drugs are used to lower the fever. It is used to lower the temperature, that is fever. Example, we are taking paracetamol. Am I right or not? Similarly, analgesic drug. These are also used for pain relieving. Used to relieving of pain. Pain relieving, to remove pain, or we can say to remove pain, or to use it to cure of pain. To cure of pain. Example, paracetamol and aspirin. Paracetamol and aspirin. Anesthetics. That is anesthesia. Anesthesia is one kind of a drugs which is being used for operation purpose, for surgery purpose, to free from that unbearable pain of body. We are using anesthesia. That is anesthetics. It is used for surgery. Why it is used for surgery? To release the pain. Okay, that is by using that anesthesia in body means we will not able to feel the pain, unbearable pain. When surgery is going on inside the body, we will never feel any kind of pain due to presence of anesthesia in our body. So it is a very, very important one. So any kind of surgery, doctors first recommend to take anesthesia. Any minor surgery to major surgery, anesthesia is very much important. Similarly, some cancer treatment drugs also coming, that is cisplatin. This is a drugs which is used for treatment of cancer. Used to treatment of cancer. Chloroquine, very fatal disease, that is malaria. If from time to time it is not treatment by the doctor, then it can be life threatening, that is malaria. So chloroquine is used for treatment of malaria. chloroquine to treatment malaria. To treatment malaria. So these are the few medicines or drugs we can say are used for curing of very fatal diseases, and these drugs are life-saving drugs. So this is the vast important scope or applications from that chemistry side to that mankindness. For the mankindness, the applications of chemistry is remarkable. It is amazing. So these are some few drugs by which we are using day-to-day life to cure the diseases, some fatal diseases. Then in the field of industries, next in the field of that is industries, almost all kinds of goods we are using that is from that industry. For fuel, that is burning of fuel, we are riding bikes, and some industries are running through the fuels. Am I right or not? We are using that is CNG gas, that is also one kind of a fuel, that is CNG gas, compressed natural liquefied gas, CNG. So petrochemical industry, many kind of industries are there from where so chemicals are generated. That is fuel. Fuel is coming from the petrochemical industry. Petroleum industry, petrochemical industry. Then pharmaceutical. These drugs are coming from the pharmaceutical industries. Pharmaceuticals. Then from agriculture, for having the good production of crops from that farming land. So here it is used, that is fertilizers, pesticides, fungicides, pesticides, germicides. These drugs are coming from that fertilizers are coming from the industry, fertilizer industry. Okay, from in the sector of agriculture, that is we can say fertilizers. For the humans, that is pleasure and comfort industries is being there, that is cement, steels, irons. So these are the building materials used for the building materials for building of that is larger buildings and homes. These are for our comfort zones. So that is steel industry, then cement industries are there. So many industries are there which is the applications of directly chemistry. Okay, pharmaceutical industry, petrochemical industry, some fuels are there, petrol, diesels, fuels. Okay, then drugs are coming from the pharmaceutical, fertilizers to grow the crop productions. As we know that our India is depending upon the 60% of agriculture. So for getting the good crops per year, or to mark that good turnover of the crops productions per year in our country, some good or some classic fertilizers are required, and that amount of fertilizers can be targeted by some industries. Okay, cement, steels, these are the industries which are helping for that is making up of some buildings, homes, which we are getting shelter from different weather conditions, and we are feeling very comfort and pleasure. Another things, that is ladies cosmetics, the deodorant, soap and detergent. These are also that is prepared from that industry also. Okay, so industry also playing a vital role for our day-to-day life, and these industries are the applications of chemistry. And another role of chemistry we can say, that is pollution control. For pollution control, chemistry's application is very important. first one, that is the third one, that is pollution control. Pollution control. See, my dear students, many kind of industries, their harmful gases are producing, and through the chimney in industries, many industries, harmful gases like sulfur dioxides, nitrous oxides, many harmful gases, hydrogen sulfide gas, H2S. So many gases are releasing from that chimney, and some wastewater are releasing from the different pipes which is heading towards the any water bodies like rivers and ponds. So that is called as effluent. The waste gases or water, that is called effluent. That effluent can be purified. Which protect towards the pollutions. It is purified. Which does not allow, which it does not allow to make pollution. What kind of pollution I am asking? If some harmful gases are coming from the chimney, then it will combine with the atmospheric gases, then it will make pollute to that air pollution, which leads to air pollution. Similarly, when the wastewater it comes from that industry, and it will add up to that some water bodies like river and pond, that water can be polluted. So before coming to contact to environment inside that industry, some purification process is there. So effluent can be purified, then it is allowed to react any other to environment or to water bodies, and it will make less to that pollutions, or we can say it negligible. It will make negligible towards the pollutions. Pollution it will occur, but somehow up to certain extent it can be minimized. Through the applications of chemistry, it can be minimized, the pollutions. So these are some basic applications. Applications of chemistry is many more, but these are the few main applications which I have discussed with you. Then move on to, that is next part, that is nature of matter. So these are the scope and applications of chemistry. Now move on to, that is the nature of matter. So recently I told to you that chemistry means it is the study of matter. Am I right or not? Chemistry, it is study of matter. What we are studying, that is its compositions. What kind of things are present inside that matter, that is called compositions. And structure, what kind of structure it is present, and what are the properties, what are the chemical changes takes place inside that matter, that is properties, both physical and chemical properties. So when we are talking about the matter, means we should know first what is the classification of matter. Before getting to that form, we should know first matter. Already I told you, but once again I am going to tell you. Matter is anything which occupies space and having mass. That is matter. The whole universe is contain matter and energy. In whole universe, it contain matter and energy. Matter is surrounding to matter, it is surrounding to our environment. Am I right or not? In our surrounding, whatever we are getting to see, that is matter. Matter means anything which occupies space and having mass. That is matter. And another thing is there, along with matter, another thing is present in universe, that is energy. And we can't see energy. Energy it cannot see or can't see, but it can felt. Can felt. So forms of energy, the forms of energy, that is light and heat. Light and heat. This is the forms of energy. So this light and heat we can feel, but we can't see. That is the energy. So the main difference, that main relationship between matter and energy is given by one of the genius scientists, that is Albert Einstein. According to him, by Albert Einstein, E is equal to mc square. This equations, it tells about the energy, that is E, energy, and mass of anything. Anything which having mass means that is matter. Anything which having mass, which occupies space, that is matter. So it is the relationship between matter and energy. This is energy, this is mc square, that is matter. M means mass, c means velocity of light. What kind of velocity of light is there, that is c, and m is the mass of any object or any substance, is the energy. So this equations defines the relationship between energy and mass, and these two things, energy and matter, is present in whole universe. Okay, now we are going to classify that matter. So how the matter it classified? Matter classified into two parts, that is physical classification and chemical classifications. So what are the classifications? Let's see. You have already studied the classification of matter in that is junior classes like 9th and 10th. Again I am going to revise that one. Matter. So matter means anything which occupies space and having mass, that is matter. So matter it classified into two parts, that is physical and chemical. Physical classification and chemical classification. Physical classification and chemical classification. In physical classifications, it corresponds to that physical state. So how many physical state is there? That is 3 physical state. That is 3 physical state: solid, liquid and gas. Similarly, in chemical classifications also it is 2 types, that is pure substance and it is mixture. Mixture is again it classified to 2 types, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Pure substance it further classified into 2 parts, that is element and it is compound. On the basis of physical state, it is categorized into 2 parts, that is solid, liquid, gas. So in solid, what are the main difference between these 3? What are the main difference between these 3? First one, solids are having definite shape and volume, but in liquids here no definite shape but volume is present. In liquid there is no definite shape but volume is present. In gas neither shape nor volume is present. In gas no volume and no shape is present. There is no shape and no volume present inside the gas. In liquid definite shape is not present but volume is present. How much volume in a liter or in ml, some fixed volume it can be taken for liquid, but it does not have any particular shape or definite shape. In solid definite shape and volume is present. The main distinguish between these three, that is, inside the solid the molecules are having high force of intermolecular force of attraction, that is, or you can say force of attraction between intermolecules are high. Between intermolecules are high and less intermolecular space is present and less intermolecular space is present. Example you can take, as this is a solid, means these molecules are closely attached to each other. It means they have a binding capacity is more comparing to gas and liquid. So these are the intermolecules are having tightly bound to each other, and the space between them is very negligible. So that's why I have written here, force of attraction between the intermolecules are high and less intermolecular space is present. Here intermediate, that is intermolecular space is intermediate. Intermolecular space is intermediate between. Intermediate means in between, it lies in between solid and gas. Intermolecular space and intermolecular force of attraction. And intermolecular force of attraction. Force of attraction is intermediate in between solid and gas. Once again I am telling to you, the intermolecular space and intermolecular force of attraction is intermediate in between solid and gas. Here in gas, intermolecular space is high. Intermolecular space is high. Intermolecular space, the space between the molecules are very high, and force of attraction is negligible. And force of intermolecular attraction, that is intermolecular force of attraction, intermolecular force of attraction is negligible. Means there is no force of attraction between the molecules present in gases. So if we draw the diagram for the gaseous molecule, then here it will be like that. Means the space between the gaseous molecule is very high comparing to liquid and solid, and there is no force of attraction can be seen in gas. But in case of liquid, The liquid molecules are like that. So there is a intermediate force of attraction and having intermediate gap comparing to gas and solids. These are the physical classification of matter which comes under that is physical state of matter. It classifies into solid, liquid, gas. Similarly, for the chemical classifications, pure substance, it is classified into two forms, that is pure substance and a mixture form. Element, it is the purest part of the substance. Element, that is purest part of substance which present same kind, only one kind, which present only one kind of elements, that one kind of substance, and these elements we can take example, that is copper, gold, silver, iron, aluminum, etc. Similarly, for compound, these are the combination of two or more elements. It is the combination of two or more elements, and these are also purest form. Example we can take, that is water. Water is the purest form. Ammonia gas, NH3. So these are the purest form of compound, and these compounds are made by combination of two or more elements. So these are the difference between elements and compound. And again, that element is further classified into three parts. This element is further classified into three part. You have already know about that. That is metal, non-metal, and metalloid. Again, I will discuss the parts of element later on. So element and compound you have clear about that. Then come to the next part, that is mixture. Mixture is of two types. Mixture means that is a combining of two or more substances, that is mixture. So it is again two part, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous means the mixture which contain uniform compositions of substances. The mixture contains uniform compositions. So the mixture which contain uniform composition, that is homogeneous. Example we can take, that is sugar water or air. Air is the combination of many gases. In environmental gases, all the mixed gases that combining of oxygen gas, nitrous oxides, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxides, sulfur dioxides, many more gases are there. They are combining with uniform compositions, that is homogeneous mixture. If we take that pinch of sugar or pinch of salt and add it to that glass of water, and by continuous stirring, after few times we will get to see there is no substances remains inside that solutions. It means it is clearly soluble. It means the solution, sugar solution and the salt solutions are called homogeneous mixture. Mixture which containing constant, that is uniform compositions, means the composition is constant throughout that mixture, that is uniform mixture, that is homogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous means in the mixture there is no uniform composition spread through it. Heterogeneous, example we can take, that is muddy water. Muddy water means sand water. Sand is present inside the water, that means that is heterogeneous. One best example I can take, that is chalk solution. If you bring some chalk powder, chalk we are writing on the whiteboard, that is blackboard, we are writing on blackboard, that is chalks. If we make the chalk powder and pour some chalk powder over that is glass of water and try to stirring it, it will not dissolve. That means that solution, that mixture is a heterogeneous. It means the compositions of chalk water uniformly not spread. That means at some compositions is larger, some composition is smaller. Means throughout the solutions there is no uniformity of solutions. That is heterogeneous. Example we can take, that is chalk water, chalk powder in water, chalk powder in water. And another example we can take, that is muddy water, muddy, muddy water. मडी वाटर मीन्स कोन बिले ए जो पानी भितरे जो माटी थाउची, माटी गुंड थाउची, सेटा होचे मडी वाटर. सो मडी वाटर आल्सो कैन बी टेकन एज दैट इज हेटेरोजेनस मिक्सचर. मीन्स some muddy part lying at the that is bottom position, and upper layer some purified water is there, and lower part some dirty water is present along with having that is muddy part. So that is a heterogeneous mixture. So these are all about the classification of matter. So here one thing I left here, that is elements. Again that elements is classified into three part element. You have already studied from the class 10. Element is classified into three part, that is metal and non-metal and metalloid. Metalloids. So metals are the rigid substance. Metals are generally solid and liquid. All metals are solid except mercury. Mercury metal is a liquid. It is exceptional. And metals are showing the property of ductility, malleability, and good conductor of heat and electricity. Good conductor of heat and electricity. So these are the properties of metal. What are the properties? Generally all the metals are in solid state and liquid state. Exceptional, mercury is exceptional, that is present in liquid state, mercury metal. All other metals are present in solid state. These are very rigidity, very hard. Okay. And metals properties are ductility. Ductility means anything which can be drawn into wire, that is ductility. Malleability, anything which can be beaten into thin sheet, ताकू हमें बाड़े पतला sheet करी परिया, that is malleability. So metals are showing the properties of ductility, malleability, and good conductor of heat and electricity. In non-metal, example of metals we can take, that is aluminum. Aluminum foil is there. पतला aluminum foil आछी. कोन पे यूज होची ना, किछि आमे ऑर्डर करछे होटल्स रे, किछि फूड आमे आइटम्स ऑर्डर करछे, जहाँ भी सी गुटे एल्युमिनियम फोइल रे रैपिंग करी दोची. रैपिंग मींस से कवर पकई दोची एल्युमिनियम फोइल्स. किछि तमे चॉकलेट्स खाउछो, किटकैट, कैडबरी चॉकलेट खाउछो, डायरी मिल्क से भीतर एल्युमिनियम फोइल थाए, दैट इज वेरी thin sheet. So that thin sheet is coming from the ductility property, that is the metal, that metallic property. Malleability means that is a thin sheet. Ductility means it can be drawn into wires. Gold, 1 gram gold can be drawn into 1 kilometers. Okay, or it further गोटे किलोमीटर रो अधिका भी गोटे 1 ग्राम गोल्ड ताको टाणी होउची, गोटे लंबे की टाणी होउची, दैट इज डक्टिलिटी. सो examples aluminum, gold, silver, etc. Non-metals, the non-metals are the elements which does not show ductility, malleability property, and they are good, that is they are bad conductor of heat and electricity. Example we can take, what is the example? No ductility, again I am writing here, non-metals means no ductility and malleability and bad conductor of electricity, bad conductor of electricity except graphite. Graphite is the allotropic form of carbon. So graphite is also coming under non-metals, but except graphite, all other non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity, and they are not showing ductility and malleability, which are shown by metals. Example we can take, that is phosphorus, nitrogen, sulfur, then bromine, iodine, etc. Example I have written here: phosphorus, nitrogen, sulfur, oxygen. And examples of metals are, that is aluminium, gold, silver, copper, iron, and many more. And metalloids are the properties showing in between metals and non-metals. Means किछि metallic property देखौतो, किछि non-metallic property देखौतो. That is intermediate property. The example, that is germanium, silicon, antimony, etc. So these are the metalloids. So today's lecture we were discussed about what is the chemistry, what are the different forms of chemistry, and how the metals can be classified into two parts, that is the physical classification, chemical classifications. Okay, so for this lecture this much only. Next part, that is next lecture, we will discuss, that is physical and chemical properties of metal, how the physical properties of metals can be can be demonstrated, and how that